Hello, this is Dylan Toe from Everlook Photography. I had the recent opportunity to test a NiSi variable ND filter, and the range of ND filter blockage goes from 1.5 to 5 stops. Just a little preface on my previous experiences with variable ND filters is that it's not been a good story. What I'm looking for in these filters is accuracy of the stated light stops of light that it blocks. In the past, variable filters of say 2 to 8 stops have not got near 8 stops at the darkest end, and at the darkest end of the spectrum I've also seen some weird patterns of crosses appearing across the image because of the way they work, with a couple of polarizers going across each other. So I'm glad to say that most of these filters were taken with variable degrees of the filter working, and if you look through the catalog you can't really see any of that crosshatch pattern that was going on with my previous experiences. The other good thing is you'd be hard pressed to tell straight off the bat which of these taken with the variable ND filter and which one was taken without, because once again, like most NiSi filters, they don't really have a cast. So let's go down right to the end. This is obviously edited, but we'll go down to this set of images in the develop icon. So these are straight out raw files. They have not been edited at all. So this here, taken at 0.5 of a second, was without any filter whatsoever. So just the lens itself. This here was taken at 1 second, so one stop, I guess one stop brighter, but with the ND filter on. So as you can see, the advertised 1.5 stop minimum filter blockage is about right, because if we go to develop and go to bump the exposure up by 0.5 and then compare the two, you can see that it's pretty much right. And as I said, these are raw files, and you might notice a slight touch of warming there, but otherwise very little in the way of cast. Next, I pushed the filter up by approximately 1 stop at a time until I got to 5 stops. So if you calculate at 0.5 a second for no filter on, then in theory 5 stops should take you out to 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 seconds. So unfortunately I don't have 16 seconds, but I do have 15 seconds on my on the camera settings. So this here is 1 second at 1 stop, 2 seconds at 2 stops, 4 seconds, 3 stops, 8 seconds, 4 stops, and 15 seconds. So alright, so if we compare the shot that's without the filter and with 5 stops of filtration, I'll pick the two together. You can compare them side by side. This is with no editing whatsoever. This is without any filters. This is with the 5 stops of ND filter. So maybe a slight cooling property to it, but exposure for 5 stops is pretty much spot on. So well advertised 1.5 to 5 stops, minimal cast. The only problem with using variable ND filters is that you can't attach NiSi's normal filter set with it. So I had to hand hold a 3-stop ND filter over the top of this image to balance it out. So it depends on how comfortable you are with hand holding. So there we go, a quick look at the results of a variable ND filter 1.5 to 5 stops.